Well, I guess most people have heard about the Glock thing now. That Glock was announced a number of days ago, about a week ago, I guess. I think Lenny McGill was the one that brought it out, the Glock store. And Glock said that they're going to discontinue most of their models. I think 3 models won't be discontinued. They're going to still make those. But they're getting rid of all the different generations of Glock handguns. And they're coming out with a new V model. And of course there's a lot of ideas there. You know, they're being sued in different states, and California has now banned Glock handguns, which is insanely stupid. But that's what tyrannical governments do. They always ban firearms. But what are my thoughts? What do I think about this whole thing? Well, first and foremost, I've been a big fan of Glock. If I'm carrying a handgun, usually it's going to be a Glock. I like Glocks very much. I have a couple of different ones that I've had going back even before I knew my wife, and so I've been, much a big fan of Glock. And this is this is a very unfortunate thing that they did. It's not good when a gun manufacturer caves into the gun control communist Satanists out there, and that's what they are. The Lord Jesus Christ in the book of Luke, chapter 22, he told his disciples to sell their garments and buy a sword if they didn't have a sword. Personal defense is a very important thing. All right, that's one of the realities of this world. You have to understand it's a fallen world. There are people that are very evil, that have spent their life rejecting Scripture, rejecting God, and they believe that they are God and that they can take other people's lives and whatever because they're too lazy to work. And it's those people that you have to be able to defend yourself against. Not to mention, dangerous game, dangerous animals. Living where I do in northern Maine, this isn't really a problem here on this property, but some of the places where I go and hike and whatever else, you want to have a firearm on you. So it's not just the danger of people, it's the danger of animals. And I've had to defend my property with firearms from thieves and things, and I will continue to do so. And when you have a bad situation, there's no time to call the police and have the police get there, especially down where my property's at. The police have to come from an hour and a half away. It's crazy. So personal defense is very much a God-given right. Very important to realize that. It's not a Second Amendment right, it's a God-given right. It's an unalienable right. The government has no right to take it from you. So when governments start to infringe upon that right, they're going against the laws of this land, and they are also going against God's laws. Very important. And I know people in other countries say, we can't have guns. Okay, that's because you gave them up. That was a very foolish thing to do. And I'm not going to get into the whole debate thing right now, because I'm talking about my beliefs and the beliefs of other Americans and things. That we believe that we have unalienable rights from God, and the Second Amendment clarifies that. It's just that simple. But what do I think is going to happen as a result of this Glock thing, this Glock situation? Well, if you want my opinion, it depends on the actors that are on the stage in the future. You say, what do you mean? Oh, which political party, the single party system, what is their act that they're putting on? If they go with some kind of a leftist communist system in the future, that will be one thing. If they go with a right-wing kind of conservative act, which we currently have, the actor in the White House right now, literally an actor, Trump, New York City boy, liberal city boy all of his life, and all of a sudden he's a conservative. Okay, yeah. But they're always trying to do some kind of little thing. And the gun rights guys, NRA and Gun Owners of America and some of the others, they're always having to watch. What are they doing? What are they doing? Because they're always trying to slip some little thing in there with some little legislation thing. And it's such a pain, trying to defend our rights legally speaking against criminals that don't care about the law. But if there's a right-wing conservative political system in, well, then I think the Glocks being discontinued will just be kind of okay, they don't make those Glocks anymore, and maybe the Glocks would become somewhat collectible in the future. You have a Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5 Glock, whatever model. Okay, it's actually, kind of collectible now because they don't make that model anymore. Not really that bad. Okay, they made the new Glock V that they can't have the switches put on it anymore quite as easily. And so that's a good thing, they would say. All right, you can make that argument. And some people, oh, they're just getting ahead of things. That's all that they're doing. It's not some kind of conspiracy thing or something. But see, here's where I have to throw in the little negative thing here. What if the communist left gets in? You know what they could do? They could say, well, see, if you have an older generation Glock, which a lot of police, forces do, the Leos out there, they have Glocks almost exclusively. Glock 17s and 19s, if I remember correctly. Then they also have the 40 caliber Glock, but I've never been a big fan of those. But, so that's kind of a weird thing. But for civilian use, these old Glocks that Glock doesn't make anymore, they're actually assault Glocks because they can be converted very easily with 3D printed parts. They can put a switch on the back and then it becomes fully automatic. And so we need to do something to ban those old Glocks, because those old Glocks are basically, maybe we'll just classify them as machine guns or something. Or, see, that's the problem that I have. We get a left-wing communist system in again, or rather I'll say that they start acting that way again, and all of a sudden now they could say that the old Glocks are dangerous and bad. See, that's the problem. Whenever you have a gun manufacturer give in, so what do? Oh, you just boycott Glock now, and you say, Glocks are bad, and we go out and we burn Glocks or destroy Glocks to prove that we aren't for Glock or something. No, what we do is we say, and here's one of my thoughts. In this life, money is very much used as a weapon of war. Okay? We're $38 trillion in debt now in this nation, admitted on the usdebtclock.org. I saw a guy the other day, he was talking about gun right type of stuff, and he said, yeah, we're something like 35 trillion in debt. No, actually, we're 38 trillion in debt. But the money situation is just terrible right now in this country. The dollar is dying, all this different stuff. And gold and silver is biblical money. It's what our Constitution stipulates, that nothing but gold and silver coin is supposed to be used in payment of debts, both public and private. We're not supposed to have printed currency, but we do. We have a central bank, the whole Federal Reserve thing. Look into that if you haven't, ever studied that. But we have all these issues now with money. And so what do? Do you just let them inflate away the value of your currency where you can't buy anything? Do you put your money into the bank and just say, oh, I'll trust the banks, as the banks are spending your money, basically going out and gambling on the stock market at night while your money's in there being spent? And if you go in and you say, I want to withdraw all my money, oh, we can't give you it all right now, just come back later. Yeah, because they're spending it all. Okay, get into the Glass-Steagall Act and all the other stuff with the financial world. How do you preserve wealth? How do you, as a Christian, the Lord blesses you with money. What do you do with that money in order to have it there for the future? What do you invest in? Do you invest in, food? Well, that's good, but food is perishable. Do you put it into precious metals? That's good as well. I'm a big advocate of that. But there can be issues with that as well. They can tax that and unrealized gains tax and all this other stuff. What do you do? Well, I believe when you have a tyrannical government, one of the best things to do is to show them that actually I am investing, I'm putting my money into something that you don't like, namely guns and ammunition. Well, aren't you worried about your this video being shadow banned because you said guns and ammunition? I don't really care. I'm not monetized. And the right people will see my videos and the wrong people won't. Just that simple. Share my videos with people that need to see this information. I rely on you, not on algorithms and whatever else that are programmed by wicked people. So I look at guns as an investment. And again, if the conservatives are around, well then, okay, the old Glocks will be, collectible or something like that. But if they start to do the liberal communist thing again, and we're going to have to ban guns and whatever, then they could very easily use this decision by Glock to say that the old Glocks are machine guns or can be converted into machine guns too easily, and we need to take those away. We need to ban those. So, did Glock do the right thing? No. Glock did not do the right thing. Shame on you, Glock. Should have done better than that. And I hope and pray that maybe even there's still time that Glock could reverse their decision and just simply say, no, we're not doing that. And hey, Mr. Conservative President there, New York City boy, why don't you defend the guns out there that you supposedly stand for? Why don't you defend the manufacturers and say, you know, it's funny because pharmaceutical companies can't be sued for the poisons they inject into people's bodies, but gun manufacturers, they can be sued by states, you know, because somebody committed a crime with a gun, and so you can sue the gun manufacturer. Idiocy. Absolute idiocy, and I will stand against it till there's no breath left in me. All right, and we all need to if you're a free American. Sorry about it if you're in another country. Can't help you. But so that's going to be it. And again, I'll say this. I've one more point I need to make. I've seen people from foreign countries, and you say, "Why do Americans need so many guns? I don't understand. How many guns do you really need to fight a tyrannical government?" You're missing the point. It's about investment. A lot of guys out there, I'm not one of them, but I've known guys, seen guys' collections, they have hundreds of guns and literally hundreds of thousands of rounds of ammunition. Why? Because the value goes up. Okay? It isn't that some guy's going to be ultra Rambo, turbo Rambo with 50 guns, you know, laid out in front of him, and he's just going to go down the line and shoot until each one's empty and then go back and reload. No, that's not it. It's investment. Guns go up in value, and it's also a way when you are investing, you're keeping the industry strong, therefore they're not as quick to say we're going to take them away. And the more guns that are out there, the safer people are. Okay? One thing that school shootings have shown is that police don't stop mass shootings. Okay? They can go in and end it after it's started, but they're not there at the very beginning. I remember seeing a video a while back. There was some guy who was starting to do some shooting at some shopping mall, and some concealed carry guy pulled his, you know, sidearm out and bam, dropped the guy probably 50 yards inside of a shopping mall. I mean, it's an amazing shot, just one shot, boom, guy's down. Mass shootings over like that because of an armed citizen. Guy might have gotten off 2 or 3 shots, and the guy just went, no, you don't, bam. That's reality. I'm sorry to burst your happy little bubble world, unicorns and sunshine and butterflies, where everybody should just get along. If nobody has weapons, they'll, you know, because everybody knows it, the only killings out there are done with guns. You know, nobody ever uses a baseball bat or a knife or whatever else. You know, it's just guns that do it. Little sarcasm there. So, but that should be it for now. My thoughts on the Glock thing. Tell me what you think in the comments section below. See you in the next video.